Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of Kung Fu kids in love that love reacting to some Mortal Kombat.
It's Mortal Kombat!
Yeah! And so this is Mortal Kombat 1, all the tower endings. We're gonna check those out. And if you want all of our Mortal Kombat reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you. We've also done the Mortal Kombat 1 story mode playthrough. We've done 10 and 11 playthrough. So lots for you to check out if you're a Mortal Kombat fan. This is the first time you're checking out our channel.
Yeah, even Bucky loves Mortal Kombat.
Yes, this is true. And because we love Mortal Kombat so much.
We have a drink.
Yeah.
So this is our MK margarita. And why is it MK? Because it has blood.
Just gotta add the blood to it.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ready?
I am. I'm excited for the tower endings.
With General Shao freed from prison, we began raising a new army against the royal family.
Rico.
Though many were eager recruits, few were good at soldiering. It was so bad, the general was forced to change tactics. He decided that we needed a doomsday weapon. That weapon isn't a thing, though.
Oh.
It is a monster. Onaga, the Dragon King.
Nice.
The general told me the old legends were true. That his ancient ancestor defeated Onaga, trapping him deep inside Mount Sagan. The Dragon King is still there today. His pent-up fury waiting to be unleashed.
So is he coming in the next one?
It could be. I mean,
Because
these can all be
Onaga is
canon
so
endings.
dangerous, the general wouldn't risk trying to tame him before. But now, he feels we have no choice.
That would be something.
Yeah.
Though I likely won't survive, I accept this mission gladly.
Hope you don't
I
survive.
can think of no greater honor than to give my life in the general's service.
But then you gotta stay up here.
After fleeing Outworld, I hadn't expected to return. But then I also hadn't expected the new Empress to make me an offer I couldn't refuse. To
Godfather.
thank me for helping stop General Shao's rebellion, she asked me to be her emissary to the Zaterrans. Going home, bearing the seal of the royal house, I would show, once and for all, that my mutation wasn't to be feared. That it wasn't a source of shame.
Good for you,
To my
reptile.
surprise, I was welcomed. But those warm smiles hid a dark secret.
Oh no.
I stumbled on a
Face.
trove of official records, which showed that my shape-shifting ability isn't unique. Many Zaterrans are born with it, but are killed by their government to keep it from spreading.
Oh, damn.
Who started this barbaric policy? Who is now enforcing it is unknown. But I will find out.
Yeah.
And I will put an end to this madness.
No wonder you felt so all alone as a child.
Yeah. Reptile DLC.
The battle has been lost, but the war isn't over. I won't
That's
stop
a cool shot.
fighting until I take
Oh, with the blood just
Outworld's
coming
Yeah.
in.
That they thought Lei Chin prison would hold me is laughable. Once free, I began planning my next campaign. I would need an unstoppable army to overthrow Melina. Unfortunately, most of my former soldiers lacked the courage to rally to my standard. Rebuilding my army would require finding new recruits. And that task is proving easier than expected. Outworld's golden age has left more than a few behind. Without hope, without power, they eagerly heed my call to tear down Melina's government.
Authoritarian.
Yes, it down.
As the darkness enveloped me, I took a long last look at my family.
No.
I did not
Yeah.
expect to see them again until their souls joined mine in the living forest.
But
miraculously, my beloved husband delivered me from oblivion.
so we can bang inside him.
Though he couldn't save my body, Jared had preserved my soul. Like him and countless others, I am now a part of Ermac. Yet ours is not a peaceful repose. The collected souls within Ermac have their own needs and agendas. Before we can speak as one, we must first reach consensus.
Well, that sounds easy.
Oh, cool, we gotta fight them all.
As the former rulers of Outworld, I and Jared would hold sway. But here we are, 2 souls among many thousands, fighting for the right to be heard. And if there is one thing we do well together, it is fight.
And bang.
We will win the right to govern Ermac as we once had governed Outworld. And we will rule for the benefit of all.
Because you're an awesome queen.
She is now. I like
Had Titan Shang Tsung been defeated, then Bihan and his loyalists hunted us down. Outnumbered, we fled to Japan. There, we sought refuge from an old family friend. As children, we played together. But Harumi Shirai was a woman now, the head of her clan. Her strength, beauty, and intellect awed me. Also incensed by Bihan's betrayal, Harumi agreed to help me forge a new clan, one that would stand against him and defend Earthrealm. Her aid proved invaluable, and as time went on, we grew closer.
Yep.
To honor Harumi and pay respects to my new bride, I named a clan after her, calling it the Shirai Ryu. Now the battle against my brother begins in earnest. The Shirai Ryu won't rest until Bihan is defeated and the Lin Kuei's honor is restored.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets kind of a happy ending. It's good.
I had broken the Lin
rare for
Kuei
Scorpion.
free of Liu Kang's enslavement. We were now masters of our destiny
You suck.
and could take our place among Earthrealm's great nations. But taking and holding territory would require a vast army. I needed more fighters to make our presence felt.
Sounds familiar.
Then I recalled Shang Tsung's dragon warriors. An army of them would be unstoppable. But
Could master any
trafficking in
dance.
such strong magic would surely draw Liu Kang's attention. Sector advised that we avoid detection by building our army using science, not sorcery. We've invested much into this endeavor, and we are beginning to see results. Once again proving the depths of Sector's genius. When we are done, all of Earthrealm will honor our desires and heed our demands. If not, they will face the Lin Kuei's wrath.
Scorpion's gonna kick your ass.
I really hope so.
Kuai Liang and I were working hard to build our new clan. But even with the help of his close friend Harumi, it was difficult. The biggest problem was finding the right initiates.
Smoke's face.
Then, one night, while walking outside Harumi's compound, I was attacked. I thought at first it was a Lin Kuei assassin, but his strikes were too uncertain, too angry. My attacker, it turns out, was a boy. Homeless and hungry, his assault was born of desperation. He needed money so that he could eat. It was like looking at myself 15 years ago. I would have ended up just like him if the Lin Kuei hadn't taken me in. So
What does he
I
become?
took the boy to Kuai Liang, who also appreciated his fire. We made him our first initiate. The boy's name? Hanzo Hasashi.
Nice.
I couldn't believe that Liu Kang welcomed me in Earthrealm, or that he thought me worthy to study with his Shaolin masters. After a lifetime of wishing for one, I finally had a home.
But
My joy was tempered as I thought about Serena. My shadow sister was still under Quan Chi's yoke, and she deserved a life free of him as much, if not more, than I. Quan Chi and my other sisters proved tenacious, but they were no match for my blade. I snatched Serena from them.
Yeah!
Then Liu Kang helped me break Quan Chi's spell. Her mind free of his influence for the first time in years, Serena chose to join me in Earthrealm. My sister and I once again fight side by side. Only now we do so for Earthrealm. Together, we have formed the Order of Light.
While the regime had changed, little else had. My people still suffered in silence, ignored by the rest of our world. Though now I knew Empress Melina's secret, that she was also afflicted with Tarkat. If anyone would help, it would be her. But how to get an audience? Syzoth. He was the Empress's new emissary to the Zaterrans. I asked him to introduce us. At great personal risk, he agreed. And as I'd prayed, the Empress was willing to meet. Even better, she would visit the colony.
Good. Please tell me she doesn't slaughter
She
them.
was shocked to see how we lived. She moved quickly to provide for our care and comfort.
Way to go, Melina.
Thanks to the Empress and Syzoth, we Tarkatans are no longer pariahs. Until our disease can be cured, that will do.
Good.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for allies against the Yakuza, but I found one in Special Agent Jackson Briggs. He'd heard
Nice.
gangsters plotting to kill me on a wiretap and came calling, hoping I'd be his informant. We planned to part ways when we got the job done. But then, Shang Tsung showed up to steal Sento.
Of course he did.
Needless to say, Jackson had questions. It blew his mind to hear that the stories in Johnny's movies were real. Once the shock wore off, Jackson quickly sized up the threats Earthrealm faced. To deal with them, he got his bosses at the FBI to form the Outworld Investigation Agency.
Like the Men in Black.
Yeah.
When he asked me to sign on, I hesitated. After all, me? A government agent? But it's an important job. And more importantly to me, an honest living.
You Kenshi.
I love that shot.
Yeah.
That's
General
awesome.
Shao's revolt left Outworld's armies in tatters. We were vulnerable to enemies both foreign and domestic. That's why my sister asked me to take command, to stitch her military back together and purge Shao's loyalists within it.
Cool.
She trusted only me with the task.
Yeah.
The soldiers, however, had little faith. They thought me a spoiled dilettante, unprepared and unfit to serve.
So how did you prove him
The
wrong?
fight mattered little. All that mattered was that I wasn't one of them. I finally earned their loyalty by orchestrating an epic victory over Shao and his rebels.
Nice.
Though the general himself escaped, his forces were smashed. For as long as I am able, I will lead the Empress's armies in defense of Outworld. Through strength, we will achieve peace.
Until recently, I hadn't met Li Mei, but I had heard the stories. How the Umgadi's matron superior blamed her for not preventing Emperor Jared's murder. How she quit in disgrace rather than accept punishment. But those stories didn't fit the woman I now knew. Li Mei would never have been so negligent.
Nope.
Eventually, I uncovered the truth. The failures and mistakes which led to the Emperor's murder, they resulted from poor decisions made by the matron superior themselves. They made Li Mei their scapegoat. When the Empress found out, she wanted the Umgadi disbanded. But I convinced her that it could be reformed.
Under new leadership.
To make sure it did, she put me in charge.
Good.
I am humbled by this sacred responsibility. The Umgadi, my sisters, they are my life. I will not let them be brought down by the acts of a selfish few.
Good job, Tanya.
Though the barriers between timelines had been rebuilt, there was no question that they could again be broken. Protecting this timeline would require eternal vigilance, so that it could not fall victim to further outside aggression. But nothing in my countless lifetimes had prepared me for this task. In none of them had multiple timelines ever coexisted. Monitoring them for threats was an entirely novel problem. It would require a novel solution. I discovered that though the timelines no longer touched, their meeting had left them intertwined. I can now secretly surveil all timelines, keeping watch for potential danger.
Get comfy your chair,
It
dude.
pleases me to do this service for the new era. Lord Liu Kang may rest assured that it is secure.
Nice.
My loyal partner had warned me. Reclaiming my power as Keeper of Time might have unforeseen consequences. In this, as in most things, he proved prescient. The process I had undergone did irreparable
badass
harm
image.
to my body. Taking back my power had cost me my immortality.
What?
While my lifespan would still stretch across eons, I would one day perish. And if the war with Titan Shang Tsung taught me anything, it is that this timeline is not safe without a protector.
So you gotta find a new protector.
Yet I had never given thought to choosing a successor. Who is it that could replace me and protect my
I
new
get
era?
posted like that.
Yeah, right?
The answer, of course, is Geras. Tireless and meticulous, he is perfectly suited to be entrusted with this grave duty. And no one knows better the temptations of the hourglass. I have no doubt he will be above them.
Since this whole thing kicked off, I'd wondered why Liu Kang chose me to be a champion. I mean, sure, I was killing it as a martial arts star, but it's one thing when it's all for show. It's different when you're playing for keeps.
Nice.
Then Liu Kang let me in on his master plan. He wanted the masses to know about the world beyond them, the one filled with gods and monsters, and he wanted me to tell him about it. But I knew revealing the truth all at once would be too shocking of a plot twist for most. That's why I pitched doing a bunch of stories, to slowly get people used to it.
Smart. Nice.
And if there's one thing I can do, besides kick ass in combat, it's build a cinematic universe. I'm serving up movies, streaming series, games, you name it. I like that I'm doing a public service. And it
Sure.
doesn't hurt that I'm making more than a few bucks.
Yeah.
Sure, more than a
Kind
few.
of synergy that would make any studio mogul proud.
It was inevitable that the Shaolin Masters had me join them. They knew just how much future initiates could learn from me. Shujinko was one of my earliest. His ability to absorb anyone's powers and skills was amazing.
That would be impressive.
With the right
Yeah,
training,
Shujinko.
he could become our greatest champion. I knew that I alone could give it to him. But as his proficiency grew, so did his ego. In love
Sounds like
with
someone.
himself and his power, Shujinko became a threat to the realms.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's not good.
He hadn't learned humility because I wasn't the one who could teach it.
True.
I should have listened to Raiden's warning and not tried to train Shujinko alone.
Raiden's always
After he was
wise.
subdued, Shujinko's accumulated abilities and memories were taken from him. He is once again a new initiate, ready to begin his training.
And this time we won't do it alone.
This time, Raiden and I train Shujinko together.
There you go.
He will become the champion he is destined to be. And I will fulfill my duties humbly and cooperatively.
At least you learned. It's important.
After escaping Lei Chin prison, I was hounded by the Imperial Police. I needed a place to hide and to recuperate while I plotted the best way forward. I knew the remote canton of my youth would be perfect. To escape capture, I traveled by sea. Little did I know that a gargantuan storm was brewing. My tiny craft was smashed apart. I closed my eyes, waiting to drown, hoping that the Netherrealm wouldn't claim my soul.
You should be so lucky.
But when I reopened them, I found myself not in hell, but on a deserted island. From its ruins, I could tell that great sorcerers had once lived there. In the caves beneath the ruins, I found what I can only describe as a well of souls. Once I learn how to wield its power, I will become invincible.
Pretty much.
Though worried about how the public might react, I met with Baraka to discuss his Tarkatans. Speaking from his heart, he moved me. I agreed to visit his colony and see how his people lived. The conditions were atrocious. This was one of my mother's few mistakes. Like all Outworlders, she treated Tarkatans with scorn. What they deserved from us was compassion. And the only way to get it for them was to reveal my affliction. To show all my subjects that even an empress could get Tarkat. The scandal my revelation caused was intense.
I'm sure.
But with the help of Kitana and Tanya, I emerged from it a stronger empress than ever.
Nice.
My honesty, empathy, and resolve won over my remaining doubters. There is no longer any question that I am fit to lead the Empire.
Way to go, Melina.
I know.
As her reign began, Empress Melina faced many challenges. To meet them, she turned to the people she trusted. Her sister to lead her army, and me to lead her Imperial Police. Though I missed Empress Sindel dearly, I was glad my ties with her family had been mended. But while it was an honor to be made responsible for Outworld's internal security, I soon realized accepting the appointment was a mistake.
You're a warrior, not a politician.
I'm not cut out to be a bureaucrat, nor am I patient enough to navigate the Imperial Court's politics. I was at my best patrolling Sundo's streets, when I could feel the city's pulse and serve and protect its citizens directly.
You're happiest.
That's why I resigned my post and resumed my role as Sundo's first constable. I end each day knowing I've made a difference.
Way to go,
That's all you can ask for.
Quan Chi's plot collapsed. Along with it, my plan to secure new beings to feed my starving people. Because I'd advocated for partnering with him, I was held responsible. If I didn't seize for Viternus' new feeding grounds, the Coven would banish me. But then, I had a revelation.
Ooh,
I didn't need to conquer realms to feed my people. I simply needed to capture enough beings to breed them. Once they multiply, Viternus will have a limitless, renewable source of food.
There's a little bit of acting there in a couple.
I know, right?
1,000 to start. A number so small compared to the billions in the realms that no one will notice as people go missing. But it will be more than enough to establish our breeding stock and feed a ravenous Viternus.
Like that little scream, whatever, at the end.
My godly counterpart, I would not have survived the battle against Titan Shang Tsung. Meeting him, though, raised questions. Why did I replace him in this new era? Why was I made mortal? Lord Liu Kang told me of his Raiden's nobility and righteousness, about his steadfast leadership in the defense of Earthrealm. He also told me about Raiden's dark side. How he could be consumed by rage and cast aside the rules he otherwise lived by.
Well, you just had enough.
Mortal and incapable of such anger was to keep me from following in his footsteps. Though I understood the reasons why, I felt I had been done a disservice. To survive the coming battles, I may need the edge that only great rage can bring.
Raiden, no!
As the Shaolin couldn't aid me, I sought out someone who could. Someone to stoke the fire within me and teach me to master it.
I mean, okay, to master it, that means you don't give into it.
I could have no better teacher than the Shirai Ryu's Grand Master.
Damn.
To elude capture by Empress Melina, I joined Havoc's crusade in Saido. There, I summoned more magic than I thought possible, and drowned out the old regime. Havoc's longed-for anarchy had been achieved. He was more than satisfied. But I was left empty and broken. Had I been satisfied as Outworld's High Mage, not let myself be tempted by Shang Tsung, a great city would not now lay in ruins. I've caused devastation, ended thousands of lives, all because of my blind ambition.
And following a crappy leader.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
Betrayed my oath, my sovereign, and my realm.
Yep.
These high crimes merit punishment, and I'll accept whatever the Empress gives me.
Okay.
My only ambition now is to one day be forgiven.
All right, Rain.
Quan Chi's defeat had cost me everything. For months I had furthered his plot, and now I had to start over. Saido's people were still in chains. That's when Rain approached me. On the run from Empress Melina, he was desperate for help. And though I'd had my fill of sorcerers, this one was different. I agreed to provide him safe haven. He agreed to help topple Saido's government. And topple it we did. Rain summoned a wave so fast, so powerful, that it crushed the capital. Saido's fascist rulers were swept away. My people are finally free. They can chart their own course, needing only to follow their own desires. Their lives are now blessed by anarchy.
What a final line. Their lives are now blessed by anarchy.
Yep.
Oh, man.
What I love about these is that none of them contradict each other. They all follow the same like winners and losers, and they all like connect with each other. Like a lot of like, you know, different ones like Rains and Havocs are connected, and Melinas and Barakas and Reptiles, and like, because before when they've done tower endings, it's just like each one has its own kind of separate like little like universe as far as what would happen if they won. You know, what happened like the last one, what would happen if each one of them was in charge of the you know, Times of Sand or whatever. So this one being all of them basically being canon is something different, and I don't know, I like it.
As we watch this, I just kept thinking about what Liu Kang says in the opening of the game, how his goal was to set right sort of the sands of time and people's timelines, and that everybody was set up on a path of peace if they would choose it. And so you see with Rain, like, he is choosing peace ultimately. Like, yes, he's been this negative force in the universe throughout the game, but his tower ending is that he recognizes that and it's like, I'm going to go and take the punishments that I deserve from the Empress so that I can move on and I can be a force for good and a force for positive in the universe. So I really loved that because I feel like so much thought was put into this by the creators of the game and by the writers who are doing the script. And you see it pay off in the tower endings. It's a lot clearer watching this than when you watch things like the fatalities or the brutalities or playing through the game. Yeah. You don't see necessarily Liu Kang's master plan paying off as clearly as when you watch the tower endings and you go like, yeah, like, dude, look at Melina. Look at this amazing journey that she is on in this game, and what a difference. She gets to be Empress. Katana is now a general in charge of all the arm. I mean, like, there's just a lot about this that I'm super jazzed about to see what they do with it in coming games, because they've set up some really cool, different, unique stories for these characters.
Really happy with Melina's ending, that she gets like finally like a happy ending, and the fact that it's a happy ending where she hasn't been cured yet of her disease, but she's been accepted for it. And it kind of feels like, you know, that's always what Melina was looking for, and it was like acceptance. And you know, and now she's finally got it in this timeline, but acceptance for who she is not, and she had to change who she was. Like, you know, she still has the disease and the crazy face with the little split jaw. But yeah, and so like it took a lot of guts to show her true self, to gain the trust of the people that are afflicted with the Tarkat disease. But then also realize that could have cost her throne. But you know, she did what she thought was right, and it ended up paying off. So I'm really happy with her ending the most, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Melina's is my favorite. I love it on so many levels. I mean, we've seen in past iterations of Mortal Kombat what an incredible leader Katana is. And there's no question that she's a great leader. Yeah. But for Melina to go and see the Tarkat colony, to show that degree of empathy, and then on top of it, show the courage of not only accepting herself, but revealing herself to all her people and being willing to face the fallout of that. She, to me, is arguably one of the most inspiring characters in the new Mortal Kombat universe. Just, I think the idea that we all could be as empathetic as her and to show kindness to those who deserve it most, but often don't receive it. And then on top of that, to have the courage to show the world who we all are in like all of our faults and everything, and in something that obviously in this world is so highly prejudiced against. Fantastic. Like, no notes. Melina is perfect. I'm also really intrigued by Raiden's. Oh, okay. The fact that he goes to Scorpion and is like, I need to learn how to control my rage, that he takes what he's learned from Liu Kang about the Raiden in the other world. And at first they set it up to be like, ooh, he's going to go down a dark path. Like he wants the rage. But then no. He's going to Scorpion to learn how to tame the fire within and to control it. I'm really excited to see what they do with him in coming iterations of the game, especially because like he's our lead in this. He's our hero in this one. So very curious about that.
And Reptiles one is the next one that I really enjoyed because one, you know, like again, it's another thing about like being accepted, and you know, he was didn't know if he was going to be accepted by his people for his whatever deformity, but then finding out that others have had this same gift, but they've been killed, and who is behind that? And that wasn't answered.
Nope.
So I'm really curious about that one. That's why I was like, oh, the Reptile DLC, because that one felt like leading into another story. Like some of these other ones, like felt a little bit more complete and a little bit more, you know, tying up some loose ends. Not all of them, but some of them. You know, obviously like Shang Tsung, like getting the souls and whatever. He's gonna is gonna lead to some bad times. Yeah. But Reptiles had me curious. Like, okay, and then obviously the Onaga one, the Dragon King. I mean, so is he going to be the next big boss in the next Mortal Kombat? So they're kind of setting up, and it's like if all these are, like I said, if none of them contradict each other and they're all kind of like canon, then that would make sense.
With reptiles, I kind of feel like it's a. So if they did to Mortal Kombat what they did with the Marvel Universe, reptiles would be a political thriller. Like. His would be the Watergate of the lizard people and like who's behind the murders and who's got the secret organization that's doing all this. So that was just something that like, as you were talking about all the endings, I was like, oh, they could totally make a Mortal Kombat universe and have different films for each character and then they can all converge into one. Yeah. So that was happening in my brain. They're blatantly not doing that with the Mortal Kombat universe, but I thought it would be cool.
I like that they brought Jackson. I was disappointed they didn't bring Sonya into Johnny Cage's. I thought they were going to try to do something where like, I don't know, Sonya was a like consultant on one of his movies for like how like for like police and whatever and like how to make it like realistic. I thought that would have been a cool
She's more military than police though, right?
Military. Yeah.
Police?
Stryker's police, yeah.
Okay.
So more military, I guess, to bring that in there for like some of her movies, some of his movies. And then going back to Rain, when he was seeking sort of absolution, so often you see these characters when they go on a path of redemption or whatever, it's just like, okay, I caused so much chaos and destruction. Well, now I'm going to go and I'm going to do good. Like, you'd see Rain, like, I don't know, doing like community service and like trying to like, help people and like rebuild cities or whatever since all the cities he destroyed. But it's like, no, that's how I'm thinking that I'm going to have redemption. Like, let me go try to answer first for my crimes and see if I'm even, if other people like deem me worthy of redemption. If not, then I will take the punishment for the crimes that I've committed. And you just don't often see that. So for Rain to do that, one, obviously to see that you're going down the wrong path, props for that. Then two, to go and be like, okay, I'm going to have someone else sort of enact the punishment rather than, go on my own journey of trying to pay it back and try to make the world a better place to balance off the destruction I did. I just thought that was interesting.
I think it's incredibly brave.
It is.
Because to literally put your life in the hands of someone else and do it in a way of, pardon the expression, but like, I know I fucked up.
Yeah.
And before trying to excuse it or make it right, I'm literally putting myself in your hands knowing full well I'm responsible for what I did.
Yeah.
That's really amazing and says great things about Rain's character. I remember reading an article one time talking about like people who are crazy wealthy or corporate organizations that are crazy rich and how they give away and like there's almost like an equation of like the percentage given away to the percentage earned is sort of like an effort to offset guilt. And that's not to say that all people who give to charity are guilty of terrible things. Absolutely not. Like giving to charity is very good, very noble, 100% applaud it. But part of what they were talking about is like people who have made their money on the backs of others or who have made exponential wealth at the expense of other people or organizations or various things often give like a percentage to charity as a way of being like, but I'm so good and I'm a philanthropist and I do wonderful things and therefore it makes it all justified. So the fact that Rain is like, no, I'm taking responsibility. That is my first thing I'm going to do. And then I can go off and be a good person. Is I think outside the norm.
Yeah, for sure.
Says wonderful things about him.
Let us know some of your favorite endings down below in the comments. And if you want all of our Mortal Kombat reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you. We've done Mortal Kombat playthroughs for 10, 11, and Mortal Kombat 1. We've done the invasion mode. And you can also check out our Patreon for early ad-free access. It's also in the description of this video.
Yep.
Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Mortal Kombat 1 Tower endings, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.